Hi there, welcome to my second article review and virtual lab update. I will be going over an article that I read and reviewing it, and then before I do that, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my wins for the week. So yesterday was a beautiful day. I believe the weather was like upwards of 75 degrees when we went out, and we got to go for a walk around a local park near us. We've been doing that quite a bit. I think I've mentioned it in previous videos, but yesterday specifically with the beautiful weather, it was just very much needed, the vitamin D, since I don't get it when I'm just sitting in my room completing assignments for the online classes. And I also got to talk to some of my friends from K-State. They're actually part of my Bible study, so we got to talk about Easter that's coming up and how their Lent has been going, and I just got to catch up with them because they're great girls that I've missed, and I mean, I've missed seeing everyone from K-State, but it was just really good to connect with a few of them to just get to see how they're handling this situation. And everything. So yeah, that has been about it. We're trucking through. We're social isolating and just trying to take it one day at a time and find joy, a little hint of joy in every day, hopefully, even if you're just going through the motions and having to not really interact with people, but we're still just figuring it out. But without further ado, I will go over the article that I read for today. It's titled Overt, Covert, and Subtle Sexism, Comparison Between the Attitudes Towards Women and Modern Sexism Scales. So, over the years, forms of overt sexism have been deemed socially unacceptable. Blatant gender discrimination is not only frowned upon, but there are actual laws in place to protect people from it. But don't let that lead you to believe that sexism no longer exists. Overt, covert, and subtle sexism are three forms of sexism that can still be measured today. Overt sexism is defined as unequal and harmful treatment of women that is readily apparent or visible, so you can easily define it or observe it or document it. When you see it, you know it's sexism. Covert sexism involves engaging in unequal and harmful treatment of women in more of a hidden manner. Subtle sexism is similar in that it is characterized by the open, unequal, and harmful treatment of women that goes unnoticed because it is perceived to be customary or normal behavior or even like traditional behavior. These individuals may not even realize that their behavior is unequal or harmful towards women. This article wanted to make a comparison between the attitudes towards women and modern sexism scales. The attitudes towards women scale is more likely to identify individuals with overt sexist attitudes, whereas the modern sexism scale is better suited to measure covert and subtle forms of sexism. After the researchers' confirmatory factor analysis demonstrated that the two scales were tapping into different, though related, constructs. The correlations between the two scales and the affect measures indicated that both are related to negative attitudes about women and feminists and positive attitudes about traditional men and male chivalry. They also found evidence that supported their hypotheses that modern sexism is related to subtle sexist beliefs, which include differential tendencies to define, be aware of, or perceive events as sexist, whereas attitudes towards women scale is related to more overt or blatant forms of sexism. The findings presented here provide further evidence for the distinction between traditional and modern forms of sexism. Researchers interested in identifying individuals who openly endorse and support the mistreatment of women and support the traditional gender roles of males could use the attitudes towards women scale. But for those who wish to identify individuals who tend not to notice inequality or discount sexism when they see it, they would want to use the modern sexism scale. Both of these scales will be utilized in a current study regarding the 7 subscales of masculine honor beliefs and how those different subscales relate to different forms of sexism. With that, I hope you guys have a great week and are staying strong and staying healthy. Thank you.